Welcome please to the JVG podcast, where these G's are gonna spread their seeds of knowledge about the league. It's flourishing with these. These funny catchers seem to be well read, esteemed and honest. Like the man himself, Jeff Van Gundy. They are high IQ, so cerebral and funny. So if you're on the bus, just border on the dunny. Listen to the
JVG NBA Tribute Show.
Thanks, Pascal. We'll take it from here. Fuck!
What did you say? I didn't understand a word of that.
Thanks, Pascal. We'll take it from here.
Right. Well, take it away then.
Welcome to episode 98 of the Jeff Van Gundy Tribute Show. It's Lukas, joined by Marco as always.
Hello.
How you going, man?
Yeah, pretty good actually. What about you?
Oh, nice. Yeah, I'm alright. I feel like we had a little bit of we're a bit psychotic for like the last 5 minutes.
Moments ago.
Yeah.
Mere moments.
Yeah. I think we missed. We fucked something up twice. The video recording.
Well, yeah, that was less of a fuck up. That was just like I don't know how the fuck I did that. And I don't think I could be saying worse things in the 8 minutes that I was accidentally recording us.
And luckily they've been captured.
Yeah.
Because of this narrative everyone wants to go with, oh, Lukas is the potty. You were idle and you were vulgar.
Everybody on the subreddit is always like, Marco, he's the one. He reins Lukas in. Lukas, he'd go fucking off the rails if he was left to his own. Oh, well, guess what?
I'm consistent. Just like Andrew Wiggins.
Damn.
Did you have any fluff you wanted to start this episode with?
Didn't you have a story about the waistband of your pants?
Oh, yeah. Oh, funny you should bring that up. Yeah, so on sometime last week, I've got I've had these Adidas track pants for a few years now, and the elastic just started being really tight.
Yeah.
Or I guess it would max out at a certain point.
Right.
Whereas it used to just stretch and then compress. So I took it to DL Alterations. Shout the fuck out to that place, by the way.
Which one is that?
It's near Northcote Bake Shop, next to PJ's, that Mexican place, next to Croxton Band Room, near all these local places.
Right.
And they just fucking fix anything. You take any problem to them, they'll fix it. And I was like, can you change the waistband? They're like $25, and I was like, oh, okay, so it must be a big job. Usually it's 5 or 10.
Really?
Oh,
wow.
I will die on this hill. This is like one of the best establishments in the north side.
Well, look, I'll hit on that point later, but please finish the waistband story.
Yeah, so I gave it to them like start of last week, and then they were like, come on Saturday, it'll be $25. And I was like, all right, so we're like in business. Like this is proper. This is a proper alteration. And the lady measured up my waist, and then she replaced the waistband in these tracksuit pants, and she was like, if it's too tight, bring it back and I'll fix them up. And I was like, no fucking way. So I put them on, and they are considerably tighter.
Right.
So much worse. They were so tight to begin with, and they were so much tighter. Like there was better elasticity, but the waist was choking much more than it was.
So she didn't get the brief, is what you're saying?
Absolutely not. And she was like, and then I took them back, and I was like, hey, they're still a bit tight. And she was like, all good. So what do you want me to do? Make them, I'll make them 10 centimeters wider. And I was like, I don't know. I couldn't possibly know. And she was like 5, and I was like, 8. He's watching, hashtag. I was like, yeah, what about like 8? Because 10 did seem a bit ridiculous. Uh-huh. And I also don't know the circumference of my waist.
Yeah.
But then, yeah, she was like, all right, come back at 2. And I was like, no worries. It's been a pleasure to deal with you through all my alterations. And then I put them on today, and, they're still a bit tight. But
so you probably should have gone with 10.
I should have gone with 10, but they're fine.
Yeah, right.
Like, after, I've got a pretty big bum, okay? Not to brag, but I got a big ass. And it's been...
Nature and nurture, I would say.
Oh, fuck yeah. Oh, like, the golden ratio. And so, yeah, it's been hard to get that like, broken elastic over my fucking plump bum. Mm-hmm. But now it's it's still a bit hard, but you know what? I'm not complaining.
Yeah.
Although that's all I've done. I'm not complaining anymore.
I think that was very generous because this, what is it, DL Alterations?
DL Alterations. Check them out on Spotify.
While kind of complaining about them the entire time, you still painted them in a really, really good light.
Yeah.
So much so that I want to go there.
What would you like to get altered?
Well, yesterday, so in about 2 weeks, if you're not invited and you're listening to this, it's probably an invitation. that's probably a good enough reason for me to invite you to my party I'm having in 2 weeks.
Yeah.
And it's sexy ski lodge themed. So we this guy had like all these ski suits listed on Facebook Marketplace. I'm like, some weird old Greek guy with a bunch of, it's Jim Stapolopoulos or something like that.
Oh, yeah, Jim.
And I'm like, some guy has a bunch of ski suits. We go out. It's like in that bit of Fairfield, sort of behind the Bunnings. It's like all weird old warehouses.
Industrial.
Yeah.
It's super industrial.
And it's like a vintage shop. Like they've just got like literally 200 vintage wooden chairs like just piled to the ceiling in this warehouse. He had I assume it was his partner. She was German, and she'd obviously brought back like, those cars at like shopping centers, like where you put 50 cents in and they like rock back and forth.
Oh my lord.
She had a bunch of German ones of that, like this little like green police card that said Polizei on the side.
Perfect.
50 euro cents a ride, if you were wondering.
Did you have a ride?
No, they weren't plugged in. They're like for purchase.
I had plenty 50 cent euros.
I had plenty 50 cent euro coins. Always do. Anyway, and then out the back, like through all these like vases and chairs and couches and cabinets, Hungarian wardrobes and things of that nature. He just had like 50 ski suits or something.
My lord.
Yeah.
Are they still there?
Well, so here's the thing.
Okay.
Apparently, as we were purchasing them, he was like, "Oh, you're going to that party in Echuca." And I'm like, "What are you talking about?" He's like, "Yeah, someone's having like a ski themed party in Echuca, and I've sold 200 ski suits in the last 2 weeks." Yeah, and these are $100 a pop. Like,
is Echuca not snowy?
Yeah, well, I mean, they might actually be going skiing.
Is that not just a party in Echuca?
But it's all like, he's like, it's like young people like you coming through to go to this specific party in Echuca, and they brought all of my ski suits out. So he still had like maybe 30 left or something like that, but his stocks were considerably lowered. Anyway, I get this fruity little yellow number.
Wow.
But the zipper's broken. And you go vintage shopping, like there's signs everywhere. It's like, it's in the condition you buy it in. Tough luck.
Yeah.
And like I go up, I'm like, "Oh, hey, like I really want this suit, but the zipper's broken." And he's like, "Oh yeah, these plastic zippers, they're always breaking. Here, let me have a look at it." He like fiddles around with it a bit, no luck. And he's like, "Oh yeah, sorry, like I couldn't do anything about it." And I was about to go like, "Would you give it to me for 80?" And he goes, "I'll give it to you for 50.
Wow.
Yeah. So knock $50 off that. I'm sure they're not going to charge me more than $25 at DL Alterations to put a new zip on this thing.
I think when I got my zip fix, it was 20. It was 20.
Fucking oath.
Yeah.
There you go.
And this was not only like a broken zip, it was a broken zipper.
Like the whole zipper was broken.
Yeah. It would get stuck at a certain place, and like the handle was broken and everything about it was broken.
Right.
Fucking 2-hour job. See you later.
Yeah. Okay. Which bit's the zip and which bit's the zipper?
Now this is what I've always wanted to talk about. Tag a mate who's a zip, tag a mate who's a zipper.
I mean, don't tell them which one is which, of course.
Well, the zip... Oh, fuck.
Yeah, see what I mean?
Yeah. So I think the zipper would be the tool.
Right.
And the zip would be the tracks.
Yeah, okay. I like that. I like that you've come to a decision about it. So the zipper's broken. Wait. That's the tool.
The tracks are the tool.
The tool.
Okay.
Like the bit
That's the zipper. Because I feel like zipper is an action.
Yeah.
Would be the action.
Right.
Potentially a phonetic action.
Not like zip?
Zib.
Like zip it up?
Yeah.
Like I think that's the I think that's the verb. To zip.
Yeah, it is.
Or is it to zipper?
No, but you wouldn't zipper a zipper. You would zip a zipper.
Yeah, right. Okay.
So if the action is zip, he says, sorry, I messed that up. You wouldn't zip a zip.
Yeah.
You'd zip a zipper.
Right, okay. I see what you're saying.
Okay.
Well, I'm glad we could agree on that. Well, speaking of zippers, anything, Zaza Pachulia, I don't know.
Wow, that was long. I think that's 8 minutes on my count.
That was 9 minutes and 10 seconds.
Just as good.
And the camera recording for 17 minutes and 10 seconds.
Perfect. Well, we are 5 games through the NBA Finals since we last talked to you. 2 games had been played if you listen to our episode on our pod or on the Deep 2.
No, 3.
It was 1-1, wasn't it? And we were going to Boston and Sean said...
Yeah, and now it's 3-2.
Yeah. Well, I think I haven't messed up yet.
Wait, okay, go on.
So what I'm saying is the last time you heard us on
2
waves,
Sorry.
we were 2 games in going to Boston.
I'll cut that out.
1-1. And now we're 5 games in and it's 3-2 Warriors up. Let's go through this chronologically, I reckon.
Mm-hmm.
So 1-1 going to Boston. I feel like it was the last 3 games have really taken a completely different shape to the first 2. Like they were kind of like a prologue, and then the past 3 games have been the series. Yeah, how'd you find game 3 if you can remember?
Yeah, I feel like game 3 was almost still part of the prologue, because it was really like, for me, it was really still the momentum of, being Boston back at the Garden. Like there just didn't feel like there was as much of a way into that game for the Warriors as it did in any other game. I feel like that is like the last time. I mean, obviously, because they lost the next 2 games. That's the last time that everyone in Boston like really played really consistently.
Yeah.
Like it was a really consistent performance. Marcus Smart was massive. Fucking Robin Williams had like just such an insane defensive game. He had 4 blocks, 3 steals, 10 rebounds. And just, like every minute he was on the floor, they were using him so well. But I feel like that the Warriors were just so prepared to lose that game. I think that was in their game plan, was to go to Boston and, 2-1 down in game 3. It's not a great position to be in, actually.
Yeah.
Statistically speaking.
Wow.
As you would know.
Wow.
But I think that was like in the Warriors' game plan to lose that game.
Now, I won't say it was in their game plan. I think it was just like, let's not take it to 5th gear. Like maybe we'll go to 4th for some parts of this game. But let's feel this out. Let's keep it in 3rd. Let them play at 4th and 5th all game long and wear themselves out. And then that ended up being really beneficial for them in game 4, because the Celtics, namely Al Horford, who was cooked in game 4. But even I feel Tatum and Brown were like wearing in game 4. And then, that experience and like the ability to push through the fatigue, Steph definitely showed in game 4.
Yeah.
And the rest of the Warriors were like, this guy's having the best game of his career. And he's the best shooter of all time. And he is the best player in this series. And he is one of the 5 best players in the world. Let's keep giving him the ball.
Yeah.
Because, immediately after the game, it was like, God, Steph needs help. And it was just like, I don't know, Clay could have used some help in the game before. Like, Clay had his first good game.
Yeah, exactly.
And Wiggins has been just like still so consistent throughout this whole thing, and I'm sure we'll rant and rave about him later on. But like each game, Steph is probably going to score the most points, and that makes sense, and that's what they should be working to do. Each possession, they should be working to get Steph the ball in a threatening position. In game 4, he was like, "Fuck it, I'm Steph. I'm going to keep shooting these shots. It's the right thing to do." But the Celtics, man, just have looked. They've been given flashes of opportunities in games 4 and 5, but completely different. They look completely different to how they've looked in their wins.
Yeah. I think the issues for the Celtics are becoming so clear to me. If you think about their 2 wins, game 1 in particular was like, okay, everyone on the Boston team is having one of their 10 best games of their career. Like, everyone, all the role players played so well. And game 3 was also like, okay, we're getting really consistent performances from the bench and from like outside our 2 stars. Whereas the Warriors wins, Draymond didn't really play a good game until today. Like, he was painful to watch in game 4, and that's a game that they comfortably won. Yeah. I mean, it was the first game that didn't go to garbage time. Clay and Poole have just been spotty across games 2 and 4 in particular as well, and yet the Warriors won both of those games, and you didn't really feel like it was in much doubt. So I think the fact that Boston need everything to go right for them to win a game, and the Warriors don't to win an NBA Finals game, like that's serious for me. Like, I don't want to get ahead of myself, but that's that's sort of like too far for Boston. But yeah, I think it's just coming down to like really dumb decision making on defense. They've been doing like today in particular. Boston were making some stupid fouls, and they just don't know how to. They just don't know how to stop a run. You know? They don't know how to. Jaylen Brown doesn't know how to get the ball when the tide is against him and like create a good shot for himself. He just ends up chucking something shit up, and they don't know how to run a set that gets like, I don't know, an open lob to Rob Williams or like an open Derek White 3 or something like that. And it's just like, it just means that the Warriors' momentum is just way too much for them.
Yeah. Something I've made. This is kind of a half-baked thought I just had, so please do not quote me on this. But I feel like when the game goes to half court, I feel like the Celtics aren't good. But like they went on a great run at the start of the third. Well, the whole third. Well, like, I guess that's not a run. They were just great in the third quarter. And I feel like most of that was like kind of more free flow and early offense, and they were just like, they were playing with like an energy and a momentum, and they were hitting all their threes. I think they were 9 of 9 at one point after going 0 of 12 to start the game. But yeah, I can't think of like a half court play the Celtics have run that I've been like, great, what a well run play. Jayson Tatum is getting completely taken out of. Actually no, I don't want to put it all on him. I think that the Celtics are really running a bad half court offense. Yeah. And your D can only match up so much against a team that's this good in the Warriors. The fact that the Warriors came out of the third quarter, this is now on to game 5. The fact that the Warriors came out of the third quarter with the lead, I think that kind of beat the Celtics. Yeah. Definitely. I think that if the Celtics went into the fourth with the lead, I think that would have changed the momentum and the energy of their team. But my God, Jordan Poole, he hit that 3 at the end of the third, and then he hit another like ridiculous like stop on a dime 3 on Al Horford at the top of the key, and then he took it to the ring. And I either got free throws or he made the layup.
No, he got the free throws.
Late in the third.
Yeah.
And like, he's been so streaky, but he was so controlled and so like professional and experienced in those moments.
I think we spoke about this last week about like, how do you maximize Poole's minutes? You know, how do you put him in like good situations? I think last 2 games, like, he's just been used so well. Like, he played 16 minutes today, but they were like exactly the right 16 minutes to play him in. But the thing that I will give him credit for is today he actually shifted the momentum. He didn't go with the momentum shift. Like, he came on and he started that run at the end of the third that put them up against Boston. And I don't know what Steve Kerr's doing differently, but he just wasn't getting found out on defense as much. Yeah. You know, I don't know if they're just keeping him away from the ball so well. You know, keeping on the man in the corner really expertly or what. But there wasn't a moment where I was like, okay, I think that's enough Poole. You know? It naturally came to a conclusion.
I found myself feeling not those exact thoughts, but I was like, start of the fourth quarter, when Steph was on the bench, I was like, bro, just chuck him on. Like, I know he's not having a great night, but it's Steph. But it wasn't like a take Poole off. It was more just like a get Curry on thing. Because Poole looked so good, and he looked so comfortable running the offense. Go on.
No, I didn't have anything to say there.
Poole defensively, I'm not sure what it was. I think maybe Boston have figured out that. I feel like when Boston go mismatch hunting on either Bielitsa or Poole, they if they have success with it or if they don't, it completely changes what they're doing. Because when they go on a run, Boston, they look really good. But then when they mismatch hunt, they kind of get completely out of their game.
Yeah.
And they lose whatever flow they had going on.
Yeah.
And I reckon if they were to go 4 of 4 in 2 possessions against Poole, 2 possessions against Bielitsa, but they back that, or what precedes that is like 3 threes in a row where the ball is moving, I trust the next 6-minute patch to be beneficial for the Warriors than the Celtics. Because it's not really their game. If Tatum isn't going to kill someone in a 1-on-1, which he isn't doing this series, then mismatch hunting I don't think is the way to go.
Yeah, well, I was going to say, when you were talking about how stagnant their half-court offense has been, there was one play, I think it was in the third, I think it might have even been during the Warriors' run, where, Tatum got the switch onto Clay, and then just, took him out to the three-point line, and they just, fully ISO'd. And then he just chucked up a contested 3 with, 14 seconds left on the shot clock.
Yeah.
And it's why... Yeah, where is the flow of your offense there? If Tatum's matched up, ISO'd with Clay on the wing, how is that a high percentage shot for Boston?
Yeah.
You gotta get some ball movement there, or you gotta Tatum's got to drive, create some sort of disruption in the D. But they just I think they really buy into that idea that Tatum and Brown can lift them out of this shit.
Yeah.
And I think against a team like the Warriors, where it's okay, if Clay is a defender that you're kind of hunting out, who, sure, he's not an all defensive level guy like he once was, but he's not a bad defender. That's not a good matchup for Tatum. He's not gonna hit a 3 in Clay's face on possession after possession. Then you have to do something different.
Yeah. So looking at the Celtics' 2 wins and their 3 losses, in their losses, Tatum has a combined 13 assists and 14 turnovers, and in their 2 wins, he has a combined 22 assists and 4 turnovers.
Wow. Did he beat LeBron's record today?
What was that?
Most turnovers in a playoff series.
Actually? Yeah. Was he hot on it?
Yeah.
He had, I wouldn't be surprised, he had 4 today.
Yeah. Oh, I think he might just be short.
Well, he's got at least 1 more game.
Yeah, he'll have to get him tomorrow.
I
know he did it. Most turnovers in a postseason.
Hang up the banner.
With 95 over the 23 games they've played, which is one more than... well, LeBron did it. LeBron did it in less games, so I mean,
damn,
who's your goat?
Jayson Tatum, youngest player to get to 95 turnovers in the playoff series. Is that over 4 a game? Was it 95 and 23?
Yeah, I mean we can just do it simple as that.
That's
4.1.
Yeah, that's crazy. Let's not get into that. I feel it's been bad for them this series, but in other series, I think he's gotten enough stuff going where you give him a few turnovers. Yeah. But I feel like in the first possession of this game, he turned the ball over. Was it him or Brown?
I think it was him.
Definitely the Celtics. But 2-2 away, you just got to get a shot up the first possession. Yeah. Get the look that was the play that Udoka ran.
Yeah.
Get that look, or whatever the second or the third option is. Get one of them up. Don't turn the ball over.
Yeah.
And then he had one passing it back to Rob Williams, who was at the top of the key, and Draymond just he intercepted it. That was one where Draymond went for the dunk and then Rob Williams just took his body out, which I think could have been a dangerous play.
You reckon that was dangerous?
Well, he was fucking flying right. There was no chance he was going to block that.
It was a huge oomph. He smacked him. But I watched it a couple of times. I don't reckon he touched him that much.
Right, okay.
I think you're right. I think if you'd whacked Draymond, you could have been okay, that's a flagrant one or something like that. Yeah. But he didn't even touch the ball. He put Draymond off and Draymond ring rejected himself. But I think that's a good play. In my book.
Yeah, I think that someone could have got hurt, but I actually think the other view I hold on it is I feel like there's a switch that goes off in Robert Williams' head. Wait, my job on this team is to protect the ring.
Yeah.
After he turns the ball over, he's shit. Oh no, wait, no, this is my job. Is that to protect the ring?
Yeah.
If I'm not doing that, that's the main thing I'm getting paid to do.
Exactly.
So then he makes the play.
Yeah.
There's also a play in the first quarter. Draymond killed the start of the game as well.
Yeah.
4 points, 2 assists in the first 4 minutes, and he set the tone for that 24-8 start. Hashtag he's watching. But there was a play where I can't remember who Robert Williams inbounded to, but he received the inbound pass and then passed to Jaylen Brown. Draymond tried to get the steal and fell into the crowd. Do you remember that one?
Yeah, onto the lady.
As soon as Robert Williams touched...
Back up the game.
As soon as Robert Williams touched the ball, before he'd even possessed it, Draymond started running towards Jaylen Brown. So I think that Draymond on Robert Williams is great for the Warriors, because I think that he just reads exactly what he's going to do.
And I like the progression they've made with Draymond, where in game one they were like, all right, we want Draymond like roaming, helping, and it didn't work at all. But I think that was more like, you know, their decisions to like hedge hard, blah 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 blah. Said it a million times on 2 different podcasts, and then putting him on Brown for like games 2, 3, even 4 was like also a good decision. Like he's taken him out of the series basically. Yeah, I would say. But today he was just doing such good help defense. Like he was just making the best reads. He was, like coming into the lane, to help and like actually stopping players from getting to the basket. Like there was a couple of possessions where he would just like body up Jaylen Brown. It's the finals. They're not going to call they're not going to call a foul on you if you've got your arms back, and like just completely took the layup away from him. And yeah, it's just something he wasn't doing earlier in the series. I think, obviously he was turning the ball over a lot earlier. He was getting dumb fouls a lot earlier. I mean, he fouled out today. But, I think when it looked like they'd really won the game. But I think, he's finally in his, from the beginning of this game, like he's in his zone offensively and defensively, which I don't think he's been all series.
Definitely. Yeah, no, he looked very threatening today. I think he's had 2 pretty bad games this series, 2 average games, and now he's looking like, and like an impactful player again. Yeah. And man, how about this team just like, the game Curry plays poorly, the rest of them just pick it up. Yeah. Like that's just like it's so amazing. Yeah. But then also on the other side, if Curry shoots over 9 from 3, as the Celtics, you gotta win that game. Yeah. Like if you're not gonna win that 100%. Game, if you're not gonna win that game, what game are you gonna win? Like how they've won 2, but like how are you gonna win the ring if you're not gonna win that game?
Big shout out to all the role players for Rose today.
Shout out, boys.
Peyton was so good. Like every minute he was on the floor, the Warriors looked better. He was that little bounce pass Draymond made to him on the fast break was just like so tasty. And he just finishes like a big man. He finishes like Bruce Brown, like. But it just means like when you've got Draymond at the 5 on defense, he can be your 5 on offense, and he fills that role in the dunker spot that you can't have Draymond there because you need him playmaking. Andrew Wiggins is, he's probably better on the perimeter, and then you've got 2 other shooters, it's just that way that they can just switch up the 5 where each of the 5 players is on offense and defense. It's they did it 6 years ago, and they're doing it again.
Yeah. Before I get onto Wiggins, I think Jayson Tatum actually had a pretty efficient game. 10 of 20, 5 of 9 from 3, as well as 10 boards. Like I feel like this Celtics loss is worse when he plays that well. Yeah. Marcus Smart, I think, could have been their best player today.
Yeah.
For like not only like what he was doing, but like hitting shots, like hitting timely threes, as well as like leading. Because I feel like Tatum can let the game kind of, he can kind of lose his way in the game. Yeah. Whereas Smart was making massive plays exactly when the team needed them, which is, we criticize him for like taking dumb threes, which he does. But like we criticize him for that, but today he had a really good like presence of how the game was going.
Definitely.
And
they took the lead from 2 Marcus Smart threes, and they were just like the momentum carried on with him.
Yeah. He had a post up on the right block, in the mid range a bit, and he just like whipped a pass to either Horford or Robert Williams, and it was just like. That was a complete. I don't know what the score would have been at that point, but it was like, are we playing Boston basketball now?
Yeah.
Because like there was most of the game was like it's the Warriors game. Boston's just living in it. But for that moment, it was like fuck that. That could be like, yeah, that could change the game. Like to pass it through the key, next to Draymond, and like there was. I reckon that the defender at the point had a foot in the key as well. It was just like he had such a good game.
Yeah. Now, that brings me to something I want to talk about. Which is Rob Williams, who I think he was incredible today. He, make of it what you will, but he was the only Celtic with a positive plus-minus today. And I think he's figured out how to guard the Warriors on the perimeter. Like, he's actually coming out on the pick and roll. And, like, obviously Curry was shooting badly, but you know that one where, like Curry went up and Rob was like about to block the shit out of him, and he like passed away in midair. You're just like frantically hitting X, and you've gone up for the three. And I think that's like that might be like the one problem for the Warriors coming out of this game is like, okay, Rob Williams isn't like kind of the liability he was been after 15 minutes in every other game. What the fuck they've done to his meniscus, I do not know, because he's playing like more minutes as the series goes on and looking less and less cooked. But the other thing is, today he looked so good on offense. Like, every look that he got was so clean and so open. And there just isn't really, if he doesn't have the ball, there isn't really a player on the Warriors. Yeah, I mean, Draymond definitely, but who can really deal with like a Robert Williams lob,
Yeah.
And there was one moment, I think it was just in the first or the second, where the Warriors were running Iggy, Wiggins, Peyton, Clay, and then Steph or Poole, or some combination of those guards at the end. And I was like, oh, this is really nice. Like, the ball's moving so nicely.
Yeah.
Like, they're just switching on everything. And then Robert Williams got an offensive rebound over Wiggins and Iguodala and just like flushed it back. I was like, oh fuck! Like Iggy got subbed off immediately. So I think they got to like run 4 or 5 plays a game with like a Robert Williams finish at the rim as the goal, because they're not running really. They don't really run anything for any players outside of the Jays, except for like, okay, maybe this will get someone open on the perimeter.
Yeah.
But like, that's like the one shot that the Warriors can't take away from you is your 7-footer like dunking over their 6'6" center at the rim.
Yeah. I think he did do a really good job defending on the perimeter today. I actually think this could be the first game I've ever seen of Curry's career where I think he was defended well at the 3-point line.
Yeah.
Like, not to the point where it's like, we contained Steph, we whatever, this and that. It was like, this is the first time I think that Steph was actually taken out of his 3-point game. Because he had 3 wide open looks, and they all missed exactly the same. All of his misses were short. I think one of them might have been left or long.
Yeah.
But like, all of his misses looked the same. And yeah, like Robert Williams was a massive part of that, because I feel like when Steph gets his threes, either Horford, Williams, or Tice are involved in the play.
Yeah. And not... Like, he went over 9, but I think he turned down 3 threes that he would have taken on any other night. Like, there was that one that Rob Williams probably would have blocked. Then there was another one where he, like, swung it. And then there was that fast break one where Clay, like, kicked it out from the paint. And Steph, like, Marcus Smart was getting over to him.
Yeah.
But it's Steph Curry. Like, he had a Steph Curry amount of time to get that shot off, and he turned it down.
Yeah.
So that's, like... Not only did you make Steph Curry miss 9 threes, you also stopped him from taking 3, which is like, that's 3 more than almost any other night.
Yeah, and the other one, I remember because I was mad about it, because they were on the left wing, he passed it to, he got Tatum out of the play, and then he pump faked again, and then passed it to Poole, and then Poole hit the 3, and I was like, I'm still mad he hit it. Like, the play right there is, Steph gets the open look, Steph takes it. Like, it doesn't matter. Yeah, I feel like, any other game he would have taken that. And then also, any other game, I feel like that fast break one, he would have kept running to the corner.
Yeah.
Like, knowing that the D is coming.
Yeah.
Like, he spotted up at the point where Clay made the pass.
Yeah.
But, like, I feel like any other game, he would just let his momentum carry. He was like, okay, Clay, give it to me in the corner.
Yeah.
I'll hit this fade.
Or like relocate. Like he just like, as soon as Marcus Smart was in front of him, he froze, which is just un-Curry like. Yeah.
Having said all of that, Game 6 they're fucked.
Yeah,
the Celtics
so
are actually fucked. He'll shoot from half court.
Yeah.
Like it doesn't matter. Like there is no way Steph sees a 0 in his 3-point made column and doesn't. There is no way he hits less than 6.
Exactly. Yeah. First time in his playoff career. This isn't a Chris Paul moment. His juice is disappearing. From Game 5. Yeah, they're absolutely fucked.
Maybe my favorite part of this game, Derek White stunk. He finished the game with 1 point. Famously the worst amount of points.
Yeah.
Even worse than 0. He finished the game with 1 point. He got bullied by Wiggins on more than that dunk occasion. There were like 4 possessions where Wiggins went at him. There was a play where Wiggins backed him down to the free throw line, from the left side of the court to the free throw line, and then he faded going right, and then probably ended on the elbow. And Derek White was nowhere near him. So that leads perfectly into my Andrew Wiggins fandom.
Hey,
my God, what a! I just feel so good for him. And to think, LeBron traded him all those years ago, and now he's ended up on the team that beat him that year in the finals.
I think, man, Andrew Wiggins' Wikipedia page is going to look really strange in 10 years' time. So in 2022, he was an All-Star and an NBA champion. I'm not going to say under finals MVP. But then, you ask your dad about it, and he's going to be like, oh, yeah, but he was only the 4th best player on that bloody team. Which, it's not true. This is the second most important player.
Yeah.
And I think the entire Warriors season, and let's contextualize it like that. Let's let this be the season that Andrew Wiggins was like just consistent, timely, defensive stalwart, and like helped the Warriors win an NBA championship. Like
he went from overrated to underrated, and like the magnitude of him being overrated and the magnitude of him being underrated are so big.
Yeah,
because. Like, when he came into the league, it was like, oh, he's got all these tools. He's like, he's sick. He fits any team. And then he went to Minnesota, and it was like, he was kind of just getting empty buckets. And then they got rid of him. And he just added him to the list of players that leave Minnesota and do so much better.
Yeah.
But now, he's the second biggest contributor on potentially the champion. Likely the champion.
Yeah.
And... I mean, he should be getting so much more rip than he got when he came into the league. Like, he should be getting so much more than that, like, few year stretch when he came into the league. And, yeah, he might never be well rated over his whole career.
Yeah, and I think, like, I don't want to say this season's a flash in the pan, because I don't think it is, but it'll kind of look like it, you know? Like, are the Warriors going to be contenders again next year? Probably. But, if Wiggins is playing the same role, we're not going to be freaking out about it as much. It's going to be like, oh, yeah, he did it last year. Like, that's who Wiggins is now. He's 17 points, 16 rebounds. But I think what I've taken away from the last 3 games is Game 4. That's just the legendary Steph game. Like, I knew it as it was unfolding. And, yeah, this is Steph's going to win the finals MVP because I think they'll shoot Adam Silver if he doesn't. But, like, yeah, this is Andrew Wiggins' series for me.
Yeah. I was thinking about what it would take for Wiggins to win finals MVP.
I wanted to ask you this.
Legit, Steph would have to score 0 points and he'd have to hit 60 in Game 6.
Yeah.
But anything short of that, it's Curry's.
Yeah.
But I think that viewing Wiggins as the second most important Warrior of this season, the playoffs, the finals, and I think every single one of these games.
Yeah.
I think that is fair enough. I think that should be the view.
Yeah. And well, he hasn't had a bad game. I don't know. Has he had a bad game this playoffs?
I don't think so.
Yeah, like I actually don't think so.
He's been so consistent as well.
Yeah, and every other Warrior has had a bad game. Like, genuinely. Even, I know you love Looney, but he didn't look great today.
Yeah, he really didn't.
Like, it was kind of good that he got into foul trouble early. But yeah, and obviously Steph did stink it up today. And yeah, Wiggins has just been so consistent.
Yeah. All right, I'll go on. This is every single game for Wiggins from let's go chronological order from the start of the playoffs. This is his points. 16, 13, 9, 20, 12. That's against the Nuggets. 17, 16, 17, 17, 5, 18. That's against the Grizzlies. 19, 16, 27, 13, 18. That's against the Mavericks. 20, 11, 18, 17, 26. That's 26 was today.
Wow.
So consistent.
Yeah.
I reckon Clay would have had a couple of single-digit scoring games.
Definitely.
Draymond would have had a couple of single-digit scoring games.
Without actually knowing the results, I'm going to say the single-digit scoring games he had against the Nuggets and the Grizz were games that they lost.
I'm
so ready to be proven wrong.
Yes, they lost. There was a 39-point loss against the Grizz, but it was not in the Nuggets series.
Oh.
His highest scoring game was actually their loss in the Nuggets series. Huh. The one time he cracked 20.
Well, we'll edit that out later.
Yeah.
I had two things. If we're ready to move on from Wiggins.
Yeah.
You sure? You sure you're ready?
I think so.
Okay. So before yesterday, day before the game, like pre-game press conference, this J King of the Athletic. Oh yeah, bloody quoting. Ime Udoka said, "As good as Curry has been, the Celtics would be at least 3-1 up in this series if they had played offense the right way in every game. Sounds like they don't want to switch up too much against Curry." Now, obviously, this quote was a bit of Chekhov's gun for Curry to have another 40 points tonight, which he didn't. And I think Udoka is right in the sense that, if you play your offense the right way every night, you're probably going to win every game that you play.
Yeah.
It's a bit of a redundant statement. But, I mean, what do you think about this idea that they've been playing Curry the right way all series long, and it's just the fact that their offense hasn't looked good that they haven't been winning these games? Because, I mean, I think a huge part of the reason they haven't been winning these games is they've looked terrible on offense. Yeah,
well, I don't like what he said.
Yeah.
I don't agree. You're the organization. You're part of the organization. You represent the Boston Celtics. You're the coach. It's 3-2. Like, there's a reason it's 3-2 and you're down.
Yeah.
It would be. What do you mean? We're currently living it, and you're down 3-2. You were down. You were tied up 2-2 at the time you made this quote. Like, why the fuck would you do a hypothetical situation right now?
Yeah.
You guys are in the middle of what you're talking about, and there's a finite. We know what the reality is.
And it's like,
stupid.
Okay, let's say, sure, you're right. If you had played offense the right way, you would be up 3-1. Maybe you should make the assumption that you're not going to play your offense the right way and switch it up against Curry.
Is he complaining about his players?
I think he's saying that the way they've defended the Warriors hasn't been the issue. It's been the fact that their offense hasn't been executing. Which, I mean, I think that's technically correct. But I think if your offense isn't executing, then you need to defend differently.
Yeah. Yeah, well, I think that maybe the way he's viewing it is like, I think maybe he's not giving the Warriors defensively credit because they've looked really good defensively.
Yeah.
Actually, I said something at the start of the pod about getting the ball moving up and down, and when the ball's moving, the Celtics look good. And in the half court, the Celtics haven't looked good. It works when the Celtics are hitting their shots, but when the ball is moving, that's when the Warriors are at their most dangerous.
Yeah,
so I think just offensively, the Celtics are outmatched, and I think they need more individual brilliance. But you can't get that against this team, against the Warriors defensively. And maybe the game plan would work against another team, but you guys are getting taken out of your game.
Yeah.
The Warriors are defending really well. It does call for an adjustment offensively. So yeah, I think that's a really it's a bad quote. I would understand it more after the playoffs, but like while it's happening, you're kind of in the middle of having this is the only time you're going to have a chance to do something about it.
Yeah, yeah.
So, like, I don't understand why you would complain about it.
Yeah, 100%. I would also point out, like, the Boston have shot 51%, 40%, 39%, 37%. And then today, they shot 34% from three, but the Warriors shot 22%.
Yeah.
So, like, your offense isn't not executing. Like, you're shooting unreal numbers from three for across an NBA final series that you're 3-2 down in. So, yeah, I think that it's a really nice, convenient, broad brush for Udoka to paint this series with.
Yeah. To everyone that said that the Celtics wouldn't be able to maintain this 3-point shooting, they've done it.
Yeah.
And
I mean it's gone down progressively from game to game, but like they're shooting at a good rate still.
Yeah, I think that. Okay. So they've won the 3-point shooting percentage-wise in 2 of the games. It's not been there too. Oh no, actually no.
But then, so like today, right? They shot 47% from three in the second half. Like they had a really bad start to the game.
Yeah, they've won the 3-point shooting game in 3 of the games.
Yeah,
they've drawn it in 1 and they've lost it in 1.
Yeah.
So that I actually didn't know that. That's kind of crazy.
Against the Golden State Warriors, the guys who invented 3-point shooting.
There wasn't even a 3-point line before the Golden State Warriors started.
Crying out loud. The other thing I wanted to ask you is, do you think there's been a moment in this series yet? Like, has there been the steal, the block, the shot? Like,
that's tough.
I don't think there has been, but
I don't think there's been a single play.
Yeah.
I think maybe Steph's game 4. Steph's game 4. Yeah, I think Steph's game 4, potentially Wiggins dunked on Derek White today, but that wasn't like that was just like, get out of my way, I'm dunking.
Yeah.
That wasn't like, I'm dunking on you.
Yeah, yeah.
Potentially that, but maybe, I don't know. I don't think so.
Yeah.
Do you?
The only one I can think of so far was that 3 that Curry hit where he got so fouled by Jayson Tatum and got really angry about the non-call.
Maybe.
It wasn't like I don't know if that's something that gets replayed, but that's something that I'm replaying every minute of the day in my head.
That's a good one though. That's a good one because that kind of sparked the win in that game.
Yeah.
In the middle of like the potentially Curry's best game ever.
Yeah. Yeah.
That I think you could be onto something.
Okay. Cool. We'll bookmark that. There'll probably be like a Gary Payton steal lob to Andrew Wiggins or something in Game 6 to seal the game or something like that. But we'll bookmark that one.
What are your thoughts on a player on the losing team winning Finals MVP?
I mean, I like it. Like, I love the concept of something like that.
Yeah.
Like, I love, a player winning the Norm Smith on the losing side of a grand final. I don't see it happening in this series unless the Warriors somehow lose. But I think if the Warriors lose, it'll be off the back of probably a really good performance from Tatum or Brown.
Yeah, that's
two performances. Yeah,
that's a great point. But I think that if an NBA player is going to win Finals MVP on the losing team, it has to go 7.
Yeah,
because a few reasons. You need to have at least a chance to close out the series.
Yeah.
If it goes 6 games, then the other team wins twice as many games as you. And I just don't think that there's any... You can't win the Finals MVP having won half the games as the other team.
No.
So yeah, I think that's the only clause I would have. Would be that it has to go 7.
Yeah. Was it Jerry West? Was he
I think the first ever Finals MVP.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
And was that... Well, it was probably 5 games back then. bloody knowing them. That was in 7 games. Yeah, cool.
Yeah,
that's nice.
There you go.
Damn.
My rule holds up.
Bill Russell player coaching that game for what I'm sure was like his 9th ring or something. Jesus Christ.
I think my plumber was playing that game.
Oh, you got your pipes done by Baylor and Sons? All right, well, I think that's as good a place as any to leave.
Great place to end it.
All right, well, next time we speak, we'll we'll be crowning this Finals MVP that we're talking about. Oh, and also an NBA champion.
We'll be hoisting up the trophy.
Yeah, well, I hope so anyway.
Oh, if anyone hasn't watched this episode, by the way, I am wearing an Ennis Freedom jersey. I feel like we should have brought
Do you
attention to
want to
that.
turn around, give a little look-see to the camera?
This is, if you've come this far, switch over to YouTube.
Yeah. You know what to do.
Hopefully that gets the shot. If it
Yeah.
doesn't, maybe that'll
All right. Well, I'll see you next week, penis.
Goodbye.